Hey you guys, it's your girl Beauty with Mika, and I am here to give you guys my final thoughts and reviews on my microblading. Now, as you guys can see after you watch this intro, that I did go ahead and get my brows microbladed, which there is a first part to the video. Then this is part 2 where I went back for my touch-up after 6 weeks with my girl Bria from The Brow Swag. Since then, I am about 3 weeks post as far as healing, and I can tell you guys I have no powder on my face. My brows look so good. I have not had to touch them up since the microblading, actually. As far as any updates, let's see. The pain was actually less pain than the first time, so I feel like this second time for my touch-up, I didn't have as much pain. I didn't have as much healing, as much tenderness, as much of the scarring. Actually, I don't think I had any scarring at all. I did go ahead and use the recommended ointment that was given to me by Bria, but I think honestly that because I did take care of my brows better the first time when I did follow the instructions that she gave me, when it was time to go in for my touch-up, I made sure that honestly, you guys, that it was just painless. I didn't really feel a lot of pain. And when you guys watch this video, you guys actually see her doing the left side of this brow, and then we start on this side. And then you also hear my girl Curly Kim here on YouTube, which I'll post a link to her channel down below. She was actually doing the recording, and you guys will hear her talk. Bria gave out so much information as far as microblading to assist you guys. I wanted her to provide as much information for you guys as much as possible, so you guys could definitely consider microblading. Is it best for you? If it's not, what are options? What are things you should research and do before you get your brows microbladed? Overall, I definitely will say I will continue to get my brows microbladed every year. I will continue to go to Bria. If you are in the LA area, definitely go ahead and check her out, The Brow Swag, on Instagram. That's the best way to reach her. Set up your appointments. Also follow me on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of her specials. This was not a sponsored video or anything. This was me paying out of pocket. So I paid $275 plus a tip. Yes, I did tip her on both occasions and basically paid for a paid service. So she did a wonderful job. Hope that you guys enjoy this video. Go ahead, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll make sure that either myself or Bria go ahead and answer them. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Bria, what is
exactly what she's doing?
So microblading is little cuts that you put into the skin and deposit ink. Same thing as what they call feathering or embroidering. As you open the skin, you deposit the ink.
How often should someone, well, who would you recommend for microblading?
Technically anybody. People that have oily skin may have a little bit of a harder time having the color hold. But we do have other options for them, which is more like a shading version using the machine. But microblading is really good for anyone who maybe has alopecia, doesn't just has hair from, that doesn't have hair from over tweezing, or maybe they've had a cancer treatment, for all kind of various reasons.
Okay, what is the normal process for someone?
So usually they'll come in for a consultation. Some people do their consultation separate or day of. We go ahead and we measure out the eyebrows, find out what they like, what look that they like, what will fit their face based off of measurements and look. And ultimately what the client wants is what you want to try to go with, kind of an in-between of what is right and what they love.
And I know the normal healing process is 6 to 12 weeks, so what would you recommend as far as like after treatment? I know you give a lot of instructions.
So aftercare, you typically you just don't want to get them wet. What happens is once the brows are wet, it causes scabbing. So you want to always have an ointment on the brow for the at least 8 to 10 days while your skin is open and healing. After that, you don't have to apply the ointment, but you definitely always want to care for your brows. So that would be either putting moisturizer on them, sometimes sunblock, because just like any other tattoo, the sun can fade your brows. What you also do want to try to avoid when you're actually healing would be like the pool, the sauna, the steam room, things like that that could potentially pull out the color before your skin is closed.
What is the, for someone like me, I'm getting a touch-up, when would you say I would need to come back?
Ultimately, we would hope that you wouldn't have to come back for at least a year to a year and a half. Some people can be longer. It really depends on how quickly your skin sheds.
And if someone wants to get in contact with you, I know I can put all your information down below, or they have questions, what do you recommend? Them texting you, or?
I recommend actually going to the IG page. That's probably the easiest way to talk to one of us. That is THEBROWSWAG, which would be, I believe, Instagram /TheBrowSwag. But they also can call, and the number is 310-621-7825. So either or.
And what other services do you offer besides microblading?
So we as well offer all permanent makeup. So that would be lips, eyeliner, brows, micro needling. As well, we offer lashes and mermaid lashes, which are very beautiful colored lashes. In addition, we do lash lifts, we do lash tinting, we do makeup, we do braids, we do lots of things here. All your one-stop services you need.
How much pain are you in right now?
About a 6. I could feel the cutting, but
That's not bad. 6 isn't bad. I assume it's 6 out of 10.
yeah, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I can feel the cutting, so the cutting is very sharp. But you could just feel the intensity of just the constant cutting. I think is more what's the pain, because you figure if someone's cutting into your skin. The numbing is perfect for this, which I highly recommend. I also recommend taking a Tylenol before you come in, just to help alleviate anything. Like I said in my video before, I did have a headache maybe the first 1 or 2 days.
I did too.
But other than that, it was durable. Just to relax and keep, like Bree said, no water on it, and the ointment, and just a touch up. I can understand when you come back, because you could see a difference in like how your brows progress over time, especially after the healing.
Right. I felt like the pain was totally doable though. Like
Yeah.
it was totally bearable. That was my one fear, was how much pain am I going to be able to take, and I have to get out of the chair, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's all unknown, and anytime you think pain, you're like, yeah, I don't know about this. And it was. I was like, oh, this is fine. I mean, yes, it hurts, but it's not like I can't handle it, you know?
Yeah.
It's totally something that's bearable.
I always define it as, I tell people, if you have a tattoo is worse than this.
That's what everybody say. Yeah, my girlfriend, who is the one who recommended Bria to me, she has tattoos. She's like, yeah, no, this is not. Tattoos are worse.
Tattoos are worse. Tattoos are worse. So some people are like, ugh. I'm like, if you've never had a tattoo, you could deal with this. Trust me, this is nothing compared to a tattoo. I feel like right now I could feel like, you know, the stinging, because of course she's touching me up, but this is nothing. I could sit here and go to sleep, and I know it sounds crazy, but you could sit here and relax and just be like, okay, do your thing. I've heard some people have really excruciating pain. I didn't have any.
Really? No, I haven't. I wouldn't say that at all. Not excruciating? No way.
I would say it's just a simple cut. It's like if you hurt yourself and you get a cut, of course it's gonna scab and it's gonna sting, but this was nothing. I would get this again. And I highly recommend coming to Bria, because you just relax. She educates you, and if you follow all of what she tells you, you should be fine.
Not to mention the shape and the color, because I've seen some that just look crazy shapes, or the colors, you see them in sunlight, you're like, oh, that's really off, and they look totally natural. The shape is perfect. Like there's no and that's really dependent on the artist, really. So I think that's what makes her unique, is that you walk out of here, it looks natural, and it's going to look great in the sunlight. It's not going to look wacky when you get in the sun, like, oh no, those brows, that color is not yours, honey. No, it's totally, you know, natural to your skin and your face. And if you go to her Instagram page and you look at all of the photos, they all look amazing.
I'd like to say the average, I know we both had
our appointment was like an hour long. So anybody that usually says it takes 15 minutes, that's not a good microblading appointment.
I don't know what you can do in 15 minutes besides draw a brow in.
Okay.
If it's a 15-minute appointment and they can do it that quick, sorry, I would never go to them. Ever. I would say generally it takes about, for first initial appointment, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour, generally. Okay. And there's some artists that take 2-3 hours. You know, some people are very methodical in the way that they do their brows. So it just kind of depends, but it should take at least 45 minutes.
And for those of you that don't know, Bria is also a makeup artist, so she has years of experience working with major brands and actually understanding the aesthetics of brows and cosmetology and skincare. So that's where when you're like, well, how do I know this person's experience? Oh, their resume tells it.
You definitely want to check into your artist, whoever it may be. You want to see how long they've been doing it, what their experience is. Did they do makeup or brows prior to doing it now? Because that makes a difference too in knowing brow shape. Sometimes even knowing where they went to school. Do they know color theory? Do they know correction? Do they know skin depth? All these things are extremely important to having microblading done and having a good job done. Whether it's going to stay or not, or whether, you know, especially someone who doesn't know infection control or bloodborne pathogens. So you always want to make sure whoever you go to has their certificates and has gone to accredited school.
Yeah, like it's so important that you do your research and you know who is doing anything to your face, because otherwise you end up looking crazy for a minute, especially microblading, because it lasts such a long time.
And even though it's not permanent, I think that for some people, it can be a scary process of change.
Of course.
It's something you're not used to seeing on your face. It's something completely different. So for those type of people who have that type of anxiety, laying down on this table for the first time can be, you know, something that's hard for most people. So we have what we started offering for people who have those fears and kind of just want to do a test drive, I guess you could say, of what it would look like. We do brow attachments. So basically what that is like using a glue and you're attaching little hairs to your skin, almost like if you're doing eyelash extensions. Okay. So it kind of can show them the fullness and what it might look like. So it kind of gives them some time to get used to the difference in how they would look before they fully commit.
That's a good idea.
Now the only difference with that will only last about 3 weeks, if that. And it runs about $150 to have it done. So it's like, you might as well just have it done. But if you have those big of fears, maybe it's more important for you to spend the money to have it done temporary.
Right.
This blade does not hurt.
Oh, that's like good numbing cream.
I'm like, this blade is not.
Yes, I want to say it was.
Yeah, everybody always has one crazy one. One easy one crazy one.
I'm like, the crazy one, I was like, oh no, you're going to get touched up. You're the blues.
Yeah, I have one that actually stayed pretty well. Like my right one, like, no. It's like the arch is kind of gone and that's always the one. And it's shorter than the other one. Like that's the one who, you know.
And that's another thing people should know about microblading. Your first time, that's why you always should come for your touch-up. Not to say that somebody won't take all the color the first time. Some people do, but most don't. Most are going to fade, and you want to do your touch-up because you want to make sure that you get back into those strokes, deposit some more color, and make sure that they are going to stay for at least a year to a year and a half. And then everyone's skin is different, and everybody's skin holds color different. So even after your second, let's just say second or even third touch-up, if your skin's still not holding color there, you may be one of those people who doesn't hold color. And then for people who don't hold color, we definitely recommend doing the machine version. That goes just a tad bit deeper into the skin to help it stay better, but not quite as deep as a normal tattoo would go. So it still would be temporary. How you doing?
I'm fine.
And I feel like for you, I've noticed a little bit of more hair growth in the front since we did it last time. And that, for some people that don't have hair or weren't growing hair in certain areas, when you have trauma to the skin wants to repair itself, thus a lot of times signaling those little hair follicles to reactivate and start growing again, where you may not have grown hair before. So for some people, this is a benefit to them because after a year and a half, 2 years, that hair might be grown back and you might not have to do this anymore.
Interesting.
I never knew that.
It's not everybody, but a lot of people you'll see some hair growth. And it also could just be from the fact that you're no longer messing with your brows.
Yeah.
And you're giving your brows that time and that space to grow back.
I think this is the problem, bro.
It's not really a problem. It just has a little bit of mind of its own.
It wants to do something, but it doesn't want to do what I want it to do. I'm like, I just need you to match.
So we're gonna make it do it today.
Well, you know how they always say that your brows are sisters, they're not twins. Of course, mine are cousins. They're not even sisters.
It was like, after the healing, I'm like, why can't you just get right with the program? I'm like, okay, now I understand. Touch up. Yeah.
No, I totally had one that healed differently than the other, where the color is pretty much still there, and the right one's definitely a little more blotchy than the left one.
And I was reading the instructions like, okay, we're in week. What? Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing now. Okay.
Yeah, they were actually very helpful.
Little guides.
To know what to expect.
Because I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is where, okay, now I get it. Because you can like freak out if they start to get lighter. And then I'm like, well, why are they still dark? And you see the progress over time.
Yep.
It's definitely a very weird healing process. It goes from, the very dark the next day, extremely dark. And then it goes about, I want to say about how long did it take before you started lightening up?
I would say maybe a week and a half.
And then it starts to actually look like it might be disappearing. So what that is skin that forms over to repair. So once that skin forms, that's also what, is lightening your color, because that skin's going to stay and your skin will be set, the color will be set in under the skin. So that's where you'll get the final color, which is usually about 30-40% lighter than what the original day that you leave.
Can people that come in ask for a new shape, like never gotten microblading, but I want this shape, but this is how my brows are shaping out?
It depends on if it actually will fit their face.
Okay.
You always want to take into account where their brow bone is, because you don't want to go too far out of that. And I mean, for a couple reasons. One, it might give them an off look, but two, if the hair starts to grow back and it's not within the shape of where it should be, or the brow bone, you're going to have hair in all kinds of different places that you're going to consistently have to tweeze and to keep your shape there. So those are also things that people want to think about when getting this done.
Or what about the latest trends, the Instagram brows, or?
Well, because of, people wanting that ombre effect, or that lighter to darker, or more shaded, or makeup, I guess you can say, effect. That's where they came out with doing the machine version of this. But that is just it. It's an effect. You're not going to get the most natural look off of that. But if that's what you're used to and that's what you like, then I definitely, recommend doing your brows that way. And that sometimes is a combination of both microblading and the machine. Or you can use the machine for the whole thing. But that's more like, again, of effect, not necessarily a necessity of a natural look.
Here you have it, folks.